Good morning, y'all. How we doing? Kachoya, motherfucking FOMC, chata kachoya. Previously on Kimba TV, we wanted the highs to get cleaned up, right? We wanted like a 86, 85.5 short yesterday, right? You know, we're going to be looking at the bad low at 80,000. I think, I don't think that's a good long, but we'll keep an eye on everything. But I think these are all pretty much the same for most people. You've got the 81.1 zone where it's taking a little bit of a pit stop. You got the bad low right there. That's going to get cleaned. That'll probably get cleaned. And then my next level of interest is around the 72, 73. FOMC, kachoy. All right, let's get some levels put together, chat. Hey, we're locked in, chat. Kachoya. Levels. Math is the math and the juice is the juice. Come on. Kachoy. 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 All right, 13 minutes on the hourly candle close. How you guys doing? Good morning, chat. Good joy, yeah. Yes, ready to go. I'll keep it on that. RTH, ready to go. Keep it like that. ETH, ready to go. Keep it like that. Look at this pixel perfect. Almost got stopped out. Almost got stopped out. Is there any way that I can show like when we drew this fucking plan? You know, do you remember when we drew this? Do you know when we drew this, dude? Dude, we fucking talked about having it go back to this box like when it was like $4.50. You guys remember when we drew this shit? We drew this box like when it was like $4.50, almost near $5. And I was like, I'm going to just be patient and wait for this bitch to come back down to $2. Guys, we fucking were ready for Sui to drop to $2, you know, and whatever. And we were like, well, if it loses $2, well, you know, then we probably have to reevaluate. Almost got stopped out on this bitch, man. First altcoin nerd out? No way. That was in October. Did we really draw this shit in October? But yeah, I mean, I've been doing as I said I would do. I've accumulated probably like 300,000, 400,000 worth of spot. Jose Elias Cofre Diaz says, what's the plan? I don't speak English. Would you like to do el técnico analítico en español, cabrón? Jose? Jose, basically, necesito papeles, okay? Necesito papeles, okay? Border, okay? Border, okay? La migra, okay? Necesito papeles. Ah, no mames. Okay? And horchata. Necesito más horchata, okay? La migra, okay? Ah, no mames. Okay? Pinche market makers, way. ¿Comprende o no comprende? Stop the music. Reptalian says for the SFP, how high? So Reptalian, it's already too late. I don't know if you should trade the SFP today, okay? The first question so Reptalian was asking for the SFP, how high would you allow it to wick before getting stopped out? So the first question that you want to answer yourself is, why are you thinking about that now? Okay. Why didn't you want to, Google SFP yesterday and get the mathematical invalidation? So that's the first question. You just said. All right, Reptalian. And, just like how we told somebody earlier, how many people do you think already looked that up yesterday? And conceptually, do you feel like you are ready to compete with those people? So that's what you want to focus on, Reptalian, is why are you asking that question today, right? Do you think there's anybody out there that might be trading today that asked that question yesterday and got that answer yesterday? Do you think, Reptalian, since we've been talking about that SFP since Monday, do you think that anybody else asked that question? Did you know that like 7-8 people already asked that on Monday? Did you know that like 7-8 people already asked that yesterday? So why are you not watching the highlights? Those are all questions that I think are more important than that specific question. Okay. Now I'm going to answer that. Okay. You have single prints up here. Do you know what the book says about single prints? Chat, help them out. What do these single prints help you with? You do not want to be the dumbass that gets stopped out at the single print. Okay? So wherever your stop loss is going to be, you just need to make sure you don't get stopped out at these single prints. Okay? You know that we've been eyeing that 86,000 for quite some time, right? That's your naked untapped point of control. Last but not least, what is your ATR, your average true range? Okay? So you don't want to be scrambling and talking to me about, wait, Kim, but what is ATR? How do you calculate it? You see how like all of these things start to cascade into, wow, you're actually not prepared? Alrighty. So remember, Reptalian, all week last week and every day on Monday and Tuesday, we talked about be prepared. Okay, so you got to be honest with yourself. Why would you be asking about your swing fail pattern stop loss 4 hours before it might give it to you? In my opinion, that's a little bit in the unprepared category. Okay, but the biggest takeaway from that is, do you not think hundreds and thousands of other people have been thinking about that since last week, since Monday? So the question is why are you thinking about that now? And what other things are you thinking about 3, 4, 5, 6 days later than your competition? Okay, let's go. Catch it. But yeah, I mean, I would probably, like, if I was going to put blind limits in Reptalian, I've already said where I would put my stop loss, but I would use ATR. All right. And when you go back to the, last week's Wednesday highlights, last week's Friday highlights, Monday highlights, and when we're talking about the SFP and when people are asking me the invalidation, you'll kind of hear all the different ways to do it. Do you know how to play SFP? You can put blind limits in, then you need to do ATR. If I'm going to put blind limits in, what percentage of the order size should you do blind limits? Okay. And last but not least, do you know how to play SFPs? Meaning it might be better for you to, if you don't know, okay, how to put your stop loss, it's better to let it do its thing, close, you know where your stop loss is. Okay. Your question about where to put the stop loss on SFP is there because you might not be fully aware of the protocols. If you don't know, let it set, and then you have your entry and stop loss. That's how I drew it on Monday and last week. All right. So not only do we talk about how you can figure out where to put your stop loss, but if you still don't feel comfortable about how to identify your stop loss, you can let the structure tell you on first 30-minute candle close. All right. But think about how people have been asking about that since Monday, Reptilian. Think about that. Did you see how Azaz was showing you the clip? This is from Monday. Like, look at how we were even talking about how to put the stop loss in profit, Reptilian. You're asking me about the stop loss for the entry. I already broke down the stop loss for the profit. Do you remember this conversation? This is from Monday. You were actually here for that? Yeah, so we already talked about the stop loss and profit. So this conversation is after we talked about getting filled Pico Perfect top. So if you go back like 40 minutes, look at the timestamp, 11 whatever a.m. So if you go back, if you start watching the Monday stream from 11, we're already talking about the stop loss on the entry. Because we're already talking about once we're filled. Bug says, I made fun of my wife, then I made same mistakes. Hey, but you know what, Bugs? In 1 hour and 39 minutes, you're going to have an opportunity, and you're going to have an opportunity tomorrow and on Friday.
You know, one thing my trainer,
All right.
told me, he said, what did he say? He just told us to be prepared.
I mean, I think for a long, you're already in a long, right? And maybe you get like the 82.5 bullish retest of the CME single print, right? So the long is kind of right there, if not like already passed.
I said, are you strong? They said, I'm strong and you strong. I said, we strong.
You know, if you are somebody that is looking to short 86 or 85.5 or 86.6 or whatever the fuck, like, you know, what time frame are you looking at? What kind of confluence do you want from S&P? Do you want S&P closing below the RTH gap as well? You know, are you going to wait for 30-minute, 15-minute candle close? How are you going to place your invalidation? Are you going to set blind limits? Blah, blah, blah. Bugsy says, I can only watch high time frame. Nice. Yeah, I mean, a curveball with we are going to do rate cuts would be hilarious. But probably no rate cuts, right? So SFP debate would be pretty funny. Let's see what it is. If we have to chase an emergency long, all right, if you didn't get in on that VWAP, you know, you're probably looking at somewhere between 84 and 85, and those are the blue lines over on the Binance that we've had for quite some time, and that's the trident play on the higher time frame. So you're probably good on that. If it's a swing fail of RTH CME gap, I'm gonna be interested to see where those shorts are, right? That are opened, that we just highlighted, and looking for structure and looking for S&P confluence on S&P's own gap. All right, to the downside, like I said, CME single print and settlement, but I mean, lower. 3, 2, 1, Kachoya! Kachoya! Here we go! No mamas! Here we go! Papinkers! Here we go! Juice of the math is the math! Are you ready, Lions? Are you ready? It's time to get Kachoy with it! We're gonna get Kachoy with it, chat! We're gonna get Kachoy with it! Are you ready? Kachoya! I said a Kachoya! Let's go! No rate cuts, let's go! Too easy. Help me! Help me! I'm just eating some Girl Scout cookies, Samoas, man. Well, stop loss and profito. All right. Can't lose. Can't lose. Can't lose. La Migra didn't get me. La Migra did not get me. I mean, that's probably one of the best TAs we've done. I don't know what to tell you, man. That's literally 2-3 months of anticipation and at least 7 days of grinding. But the math is the math, or as they say, matemáticas es matemáticas, cabrón. Anyways, wait. And if enough of y'all motherfuckers start celebrating, I'm gonna TP this bitch. You know what it is. Tell me when to close it. Tell me when to close it. Go ahead. I'm just waiting for one guy to start talking about the short. I'm done. I'm out. Where is that guy? He's not gonna be able to help himself. Sooner or later, I'm gonna see it. Contrite! Pokemon Mama, Mogai, Burgix, Asta, Space Cadet, Ricky, how we doing, Lions? Get! This looks like a get! Let us! All right, love you too, MEXC. Ayo Gains. Anything last minute you guys want to talk about before we bow out? RTH closed right on the gap. Cigar says swing fail 885. You could do a failed auction on the gap. You could play the gap and go tomorrow if you really believe in bullishness, but I think it would be much easier if it was a bearish gap. Yeah, otherwise the next level of interest will be the higher time frame volume weighted average price. Chef P says, thank you for another great day together. Hey, shout outs to you, Chef P. How was your day, man? Yeah, if the gap, if we spend time above, a shout out Rahaman Online. Brother, if we spend time and build value above the CME gap, then we're going to be looking for a quick move up into the 95s, if not higher. You know, it would be really fucked if I can't get into one big ass long, whether it's 80, 76, 72, 69. Okay. But this is kind of like your normal, why are we pumping? I thought no rate cuts was bearish type of reaction. So kinda annoying. That's okay. Now ETH movement is spending time above the gap. So if it's real, it's going to continue to make higher highs and higher lows above CME gap. So I'll continue to watch it. I can really chase it all the way from 84 to 85. Any of that would be acceptable if I have to chase it. Ariudri says, for the love of God, let us see one full move today break this gamma. What do you... Good job! Dick Flex says, are you still willing to take a short here, or is it invalidated? A little bit higher up. Yeah, so it's level to level. My next level of interest beyond this is the 88.5 zone. Somewhere around here. It will look like this. So like this. Yeah, I mean, I'm either anticipating a swing fail or a failed auction. So even for this, most likely, even if it did this, I'm gonna be in from here, not here. You know? And then for S&P, yeah, it really can't go much higher than that. 7.5 would be my tolerance. So this might be front running it a little bit. Yeah, maybe right here. Brrrah. But what about you, Flexi? Mo guy says, would be nice with the S&P and the CCV play. Sure. Yeah, I mean, you gotta be objective. You know. And we kind of talked about this, and it's like dink, 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 dink. You know how we got that level? S&P. And then obviously any sort of pump that happens tonight, it's going to result in an RTH gap. You know? So that's going to be exciting. If it's not a failed auction, tomorrow we're probably going to be looking for a long. You good, Prob Ideas? So no rate cut, right? And we should start to see a lot of people talking about why is it pumping if there's no rate cuts? So levels, pixel, Kachaya. Obviously, losing this is a no-go. Can't lose that. So you've got an invalidation and a formation. Just no confirmation, but that can guide you on a long or a short. But we're kind of at a level where, yeah, a lot of longers probably closing a little bit on CME anyways. Still on the bearish side? Yeah, it's tricky, Thomas. You know, I think this whole pump is really hard to believe, especially because of the way that it left all those fucked up lows. So, I guess if I really have to chase it, I'm going to end up with like an 84, 85 long, but that's really okay if we're talking about going to at least 96. Yeah. So anyways, level to level, and ultimately the best way for me to be convinced that we're going to hold this trident is the blue levels don't get lost, and we create value and structure change above the blue line. So then what can I do? Because we're changing structure and building value on top of the neckline of the trident. Thomas says RTH will be the best way to go. Yeah, because if it keeps pumping, then it's going to be a bullish RTH gap. Godragi says, I'm going to short 88K. Nice. Yeah, for my next level of interest to the upside on CME is 88.5. A lot of VWAP and untapped point of control up there. Yes? So we already talked about it. So when the bullets start flying, you know? Remember when we said, you know, whether it's 86 or 87, you know, it's not really about how high it goes. But if it makes a failed auction right here, or a SFP on the red line, or a failed auction at, You know, like if it ends up doing this, then I know what to do. You know? So I know what a failed auction looks like. I know how to, you know, if this looks bad, I know that I don't necessarily need to take that, but I can always take that one. I can always take that one. I can always take that one. Tequila's asking, what's your next TP in gold? I'm just putting all of my stop losses in profit, dragging it up. I have no idea. Yeah, 3,000 was where I was supposed to close everything. So at this point, it's just like, fuck it. Yeah, so at this point, I don't know. I'm going to just, like, for sure that's going to get tapped. I don't know if you've been following, like, this stuff, but, you know, that's going to come at some point. So probably just putting my stop loss below that. But I only have 25%, maybe 15. Next level, 88.5. Thomas, you good? Kisorik, you good? Yeah, let's see what it does overnight. Obviously, RTH is right around settlement, so it's going to be a bullish gap if it stays above settlement. If it stays above CME gap. So if that's the case, if it hasn't done a failed auction by then we'll probably be looking for longs. Yeah, VWAP should be interesting as well, especially because it's going to give it enough time to crawl up. So here you go. A little like a dink is probably going to give this time to get up here like this. You guys excited? I'll see you guys at US Market tomorrow, yeah? Exclamation tutorials coming soon, yes? Stop the music, stop the music, stop the music. Neeft says bullish gap is when it opens above settlement. Yes, but like this. This is RTH. You can see it for yourself. Okay, right here. RTH. This. So if derivatives are pumping right now, right? Derivatives are like right here. Let's say that derivatives hang out like this. It's going to open. That's a bullish gap. It means that the price was so bullish, it didn't even need to wait for CME. So the gap fill play is to dip the tip, get out, basically like a swing fail of the gap, and then go. And that's your entry, that's your stop loss. So, you know, like today's, it would have worked out. You just have to be really careful, but open, stop loss. Open, stop loss. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does. Same thing with a short. Okie dokie. Good joy. Are you ready for the Bugatti? Are you ready for the Bugatti? But yeah, level to level Neeft, and make sure that you are aware of how we're playing this. Okay. Ideally, that's what we want to see. Ka-choy! It's a ka-choya! It's a ka-choya! I love you, Lions! I'll be back bright and early. Are you ready for RTH gap? Are you ready to RTH gap that thing? Hey, let's do a live pa-pink long. If there's a bullish gap. What about a live pa-pink short? if there's a bearish gap. You guys ready? A little easy money, Bugatti money, and we'll put stop loss in profit as soon as the structure changes. Could be a failed auction though. Longers, I'm rooting for you. Shorters, I'm rooting for you. Bulls, bears, we're all lying. Santo, tell them what happens if they don't use stop loss. Young Soon, he's reaving.